Hey guys, in this video we're going to get into the truth about Jerry Springer, Kim Kardashian breaking down about the situation with Kanye West, and Bam Margera finally turning himself into police. Okay, as we know, the legendary talk show host passed away yesterday morning at his home in suburban Chicago. He was 79 years old. Jerry had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer a few months ago, and this week he took a turn for the worse. Jean Galvin, a lifelong friend and spokesperson for the family, has now released a statement honoring his life. He said, "Jerry's ability to connect with people was at the heart of his success in everything he tried, whether that was politics, broadcasting, or just joking with people on the street who wanted a photo or a word. He's irreplaceable and his loss hurts immensely, but memories of his intellect, heart, and humor will live on." Jerry was best known for his 27-year run as a host of the infamous Jerry Springer Show, which quickly became a smash hit with audiences worldwide, thanks to guests who engaged in controversial and excessive behavior. They often broke into massive fights on stage, while Jerry would read out paternity test results on air. The show catapulted him to fame, and even inspired several other projects, like the 1998 Hollywood comedy Ringmaster and a musical called Jerry Springer the Opera. The show often generated negative headlines, but at a certain point it even enjoyed stronger ratings than Oprah Winfrey. The most memorable episodes of Jerry Springer were unsurprisingly the most controversial. In fact, some of them even got banned from the air, like a 1998 episode where he interviewed 3 people who all claimed to be in interspecies relationships. One of these guests was a man from Missouri named Mark, who insisted that he had married a pony named Pixel. The show was eventually taken off the air in 2018, years after its audience began to dwindle, but some still credited its success with inspiring other popular shows like Real Housewives or 90 Day Fiancé. Then, in a surprising turn of events, Jerry actually ended up apologizing for the show, for the cultural impact that it had at the turn of the century. He went on a podcast called Behind the Velvet Rope and claimed that he was sorry for ruining the culture. He said, "I just hope hell isn't that hot, because I burn real easy. I'm very light complected." At the same time, he felt that anyone who dismissed it as trash was basically an elitist, because to him, the people he brought on as guests were just regular people involved in crazy situations. Jerry compared his show to late night television in the US, where everyone is wealthy, famous, and good looking. Quote, "They come on and talk about the exact same things that we hear on my show. They talk about who they slept with, what substances they've been on, what misbehavior they've had, and we think they're godlike." So he argued that the Jerry Springer Show was doing the exact same thing, just with regular people. He did understand all the criticism that it was getting though, and he even admitted that he never intended for it to become what it did. He said, "When we first started, we were a serious show, but then all of a sudden it started going crazy, and when Universal bought us, they said, from now on, only crazy, but there's no censorship." So somewhere along the lines, it was encouraged to become what many would call the lowest form of reality TV. Jerry referred to the phenomenon as the democratization of our whole culture, whereby the audience has now become the entertainer. And that really seems to be the premise of the entire show. While many would jump at the opportunity to host this kind of chaos, Jerry admitted that he never wanted to go into show business. Before TV, he was actually a lawyer and a politician. He campaigned for the US Congress in 1970, got elected to Cincinnati's City Council in 1971, and then he became the city's mayor in 1977, where he served 1 term. Over the years, he then made the transition from politics to reporting to news to anchoring. He was also an author, a Broadway actor, an executive producer, a ballroom dancer, a podcast host, and so much more. There's no doubt that Jerry Springer had an illustrious career, which solidified his status as a cultural and civic icon. So for better or worse, that's how he's going to be remembered. Alright, now it looks like Kim Kardashian has finally reached the breaking point in everything that she's been going through with Kanye West. The new trailer for season 3 of The Kardashians has just dropped, and it already has fans in a chokehold. Judging by these clips, it seems like Kim is finally going to address her split from Pete Davidson, and of course her struggles with her ex Kanye West. In the first part of the trailer, she sits down for her confessional interview, and she says, "I don't even know where we left off," and then one of the producers reminds her that she was still in a relationship. Then we hear her voice say, "Things change very quickly." In another clip, Kim was talking to her sister Chloe, who asks her if she's doing okay. At this question, Kim then bursts into tears and says, "I'm not okay, I'm having such a hard day." Although Kanye is never directly named, Kendall says, "I don't know how Kim handles everything with her ex-husband." So just from that, we can tell that this new season is going to be very interesting. For months, fans have been holding their breath breath, waiting to see what Kim has to say about everything that's been going on with Kanye. Later on in the trailer, she even says to Chris, "We have made up the most insane narrative. We stay silent through all the lies for my kids." It's unclear which narrative she's talking about, but it most likely has something to do with all the anti-Semitic remarks that Kanye has made in 2022 and continues to make to this day. Kim has given us a brief glimpse behind the curtain before when she revealed just how much she's been struggling to co-parent with him. Back in December, she went on the Angie Martinez IRL podcast and said, "I definitely protected him. I still will in the eyes of my kids, for my kids. So in my home, my kids don't know anything that goes on in the outside world." At one point, she even admitted that she was trying to keep her kids from being exposed to her father's anti-Semitic statements. She said, "I'm holding on by a thread. I know that I'm so close to that not happening, but while it is still that way, I will protect my kids to the end of the earth as long as I can. They don't know anything." Apparently, she had to become best friends with their teachers just so she can keep tabs on what they are exposed to at school. Then at home, she has to limit their access to social media and what they watch on TV. Kim insisted that none of her children's schoolmates have ever said anything to them about their dad's current situation. She went on to say, "Of course I want to disassociate him in specific thoughts and things being said because that's not me. But if we're riding to school and they want to listen to their dad's music, I have to have that smile on my face and blast his music and sing along with my kids and act like nothing is wrong." Then as soon as she drops them off, she says that she has a cry in the car. Towards the end of the interview, Kim breaks down crying and says co-parenting is really effing hard. The fact is, she's now being put in a very uncomfortable position. She's really struggling to shield all 4 of her children from the extent of Kanye's controversies, and he's not exactly making it easy for her. When Kim and North created their own TikTok account and started posting regular videos, Kanye was furious. He posted a screenshot of one of the videos to his Instagram page and put Kim on blast. He wrote, "Since this is my first divorce, I need to know what I should do about my daughter being put on TikTok against my will." So if North does stay on social media, it could present a major problem down the road. We all know that both of them share equal custody of the children, so they have to agree on certain things in order to make co-parenting work. They also have another potential problem in the form of Kanye's new wife, Bianca Censori. So far, she's already stepped into the role of stepmom and has reportedly been spending a lot of time with their children. A few weeks ago, Kanye and Bianca were spotted taking North to Universal Studios Hollywood. The 3 of them were photographed spending quality time together and playing carnival games at the park. Back in January, they were also spotted going out for dinner at Nobu, shortly after they got married in an unofficial ceremony. So regardless of the way Kim feels about her, Bianca has made it very clear that she's here to stay, and that is sure to have an impact on the family dynamic. So far, we don't know exactly what she thinks about his new marriage, but it's very likely that she's going to finally address it on the show. So now, all we can do is wait for the new season to drop on May the 25th. And now, let's talk about all the chaos that's been going on with Bam Margera. A warrant was issued for his arrest this week in connection with a violent attack on his brother. Bam has now turned himself into the police. He was preliminary arraigned and his bail was set at $50,000. Bam's next court hearing is scheduled for May the 25th. It was said that he was involved in a physical confrontation with his brother Jesse at his family home. Bam was accused of physically attacking him and threatening to take his life. Jesse said that he awoke to banging and kicking on his locked door. When he left the room, he saw a note threatening him not to call the police. It said, "If you call the police, I will officially F you up," and it was signed with Bam's name. Jesse then went into the kitchen and saw his brother urinating in the sink. It was then that Bam allegedly punched him in the face and grabbed him by the arm. The attack resulted in minor injuries. He also threatened to take everyone out in the house, which is when the police were called. At this point, Bam took off and fled into a wooded area just before the police arrived. A warrant was then issued for his arrest, and he was believed to be on the run with his girlfriend and her 8-year-old child. Jesse then took to Twitter and told people what was really happening with his brother. He claimed that Bam had developed a dependency on a dangerous substance and that he was in a really bad place. He wrote, "Bam really is the sweetest guy when he isn't messed up, but since his habit, he's unrecognizable and I really don't know what he's capable of. Seeing him screaming at a person that wasn't there, hallucinating, it's really scary and heartbreaking." Jesse claimed that he was traveling by car with his girlfriend and her daughter, and he said that he can't even imagine the environment in that car right now. He was just worried about everyone's safety. Bam has since pleaded not guilty, and his attorney claimed that this whole thing was just a family dispute. He released a statement saying, "Families have disputes all the time. Every family has disputes. This isn't a dispute that should should play out in the courts or the media. My client is presumed innocent. The rumors that have been passed around by his brother through this last week have been nothing short of defamation, and that will be handled in another courthouse. But fans know that this latest incident is just a culmination of a long pattern of disturbing behavior that can be traced all the way back to Bam's days on Jackass. In its heyday, the show featured some of the best pranks on TV. It turned a cast of skateboarding delinquents into A-list celebrities. They were all loved for their hard partying lifestyle and extreme stunts, but at some point Bam went overboard. Many believe that his downward spiral began after the tragic death of his best friend Ryan Dunn, who passed away in a drunk driving accident in 2011. While most of his fellow castmates were able to move on with their lives and stick to sobriety, Bam would continue to be stuck in a long cycle of self-destruction and rehabilitation. And just when it seemed like he was able to turn things around, he would fall right back into his old patterns of behavior. Things were looking up in 2021 when he was set to star in Jackass 4, but producers then gave him an ultimatum: go to rehab first or you're out. The following month, he was officially booted from the production for refusing to abide by the rules. Bam then filed a massive lawsuit against Paramount and his co-star Johnny Knoxville, alleging that he had been wrongfully fired. He sought millions of dollars in compensation, but just 8 months later, he dismissed the lawsuit. Despite everything that's happened though, he still has so many fans that hope he'll one day be able to turn his life around. So what do you guys think about this latest story? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.